Hello, fellow Marvel fans, and whoever is a fan of anything. Welcome to Superhero Posts. It's your boy Stevie Hayes, and today we are here to talk about what's been going on with the whole Spider-Man deal. So, apparently, there's been some breaking news saying that Spider-Man is out of the MCU. Marvel and Sony cannot reach a deal. And this news just happened today, and it's so crazy that I literally sped home from work, and I'm here recording right now. And today, I'm going to break down what has been going on with Sony and Disney for the past couple years. So, if you don't know, in 2016, Captain America: Civil War, they had announced that we were getting Spider-Man. They did not announce Spider-Man They didn't announce Spider-Man when the movie first started filming, Captain America: Civil War, but they announced it a little when it got going a little bit, and we ended up signing a deal with Spider-Man. The original deal was that Spider-Man was going to be able to be in 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's movies, which is Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, and then we were going to be able to make the MCU, Marvel Studios, they were going to be able to make 3 Spider-Man movies for Sony, in which Sony would take all of the box office, which is Spider-Man, the first one, the Spider-Man Homecoming. Now it's Spider-Man Far From Home, and they were going to be able to make a 3rd Spider-Man film. So now, I am so confused, and I am so angry. Actually, I'm not confused. I actually understand why Sony's doing this, but Sony is stupid for doing it. But at the same time, the reason why Sony is debating on reaching a deal, it is kind of all of our faults. So, let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. So, Spider-Man Far From Home grossed $1 billion worldwide. $1 billion, which is a really big thing. And basically, what's been going on for the past couple months is, I'm guessing that Marvel Studios wanted to finalize a new deal with Sony because the deal is coming to an end. Because it's our second Spider-Man film. We're about to make it. We just got a second Spider. I keep saying we're like we're Disney. I'm not Disney. Disney just made a second Spider-Man film, right? And the deal is coming to an end. And basically, Marvel Studios is like, okay, so are we going to finalize the deal or not? And Sony right now is saying, no, this is not happening. Like they're either saying, no, this is not happening, or they're just frozen. They just don't know what to do. And according to sources like IGN, which I've read in some other websites, Bob Iger, who is he's high up in the ranks of Disney, he has been reaching out to Sony trying to get a new deal and stuff like that. And Sony has not expressed any interest in the deal. And the reason why they are not trying to give Marvel Studios a deal, I'm guessing right now, is because of Venom. Venom darn near grossed $1 billion. Well, it almost made $1 billion. And I feel like the idea and the movie Venom planted in Sony's mind that they could build their own universe. So I personally think is our fault, the fans' fault. Because, to be honest, Venom was not that strong of a movie, and a lot of people spent their money on Tom Hardy's Venom. And if you don't follow comic books, after Venom was made, they basically said that they're making a Morbius film and all these they're making a jackpot. We're not going to get into the jackpot. That's terrible. So they're trying to make all these other movies and build a universe because Venom was successful. So now Marvel Studios, I believe, are at the point where I don't believe that Marvel Studios would just throw Spider-Man down the drain like that. Because number one, in Spider-Man Far From Home, they really just made Peter Parker basically the center of the MCU. Like, do you understand what being called the next Iron Man is? People forget how big Iron Man. No, people know how big Iron Man is and was. Iron Man is the biggest superhero right now, and literally the torch just got passed down to Spider-Man. And I could arguably say Spider-Man is the biggest superhero right now in movies and in comic books, since Captain America and Iron Man are dead. Not dead, but they're retired, Tony's dead and Cap is retired. So I just cannot believe, and I cannot live with the fact that Marvel Studios would just let them go like that. Like Marvel Studios has to either outright buy Spider-Man, or there might be some certain loopholes to them using Spider-Man. One of these loopholes are that, so last year when Avengers Infinity War was out, if you took a look at the toys and how the merchandise was sold, all of the Spider-Man toys and stuff, they were being sold as the Iron Spider. Not Spider-Man, but the Iron Spider. And if you think about it, maybe it was called the Iron Spider because Avengers Infinity War is not a Sony's movie, so they can't promote any Spider-Man stuff. You know what I'm saying? So maybe Marvel Studios can still use Iron Spider and maybe take the suit from Spider-Man Far From Home and name it something else, and maybe we can refer to him as Spidey or something like that to make a little loopholes around this Spider-Man name. There might be some sort of loopholes. So from the way this looks, I don't think we're going to get another Spider-Man solo film for a while unless Marvel pulls out some magic. And if this deal is finalized, I believe that Marvel is probably going to end up either Spider-Man's done for a while or he's going to be featured in some other Marvel films. But I just cannot believe that Disney is 100% done with it. And I'm reading the article right now, just looking at it, you know, like Spider-Man is at Spider-Man Far From Home is Sony's highest grossing film ever, reaching $1.109 billion in global box office revenue, just beating James Bond's 2012 film Skyfall. So if I'm Sony, and if you don't know the Disney deal, Disney gets no box office revenue from these Spider-Man films. Sony gets all the box office revenue. So if I'm the owner of a studio like Sony, why would I cut ties with Marvel Studios if they're making me money? Let me tell you why. So there were rumors, and I'm not 100% sure if these rumors are true, but this to me makes sense. So when they were filming Spider-Man Far From Home, I think last year or whatever, there were rumors going around that they wanted to put Venom in Spider-Man 3, and Marvel Studios was saying, no, we're not putting Venom in Spider-Man 3. And if you think about Sony right now, Venom is their bread and butter, right? Venom just signed Andy Serkis to be the director of the movie, and Tom Hardy's going to have a lot of say in the movie, thank God. You know, I hate to say it, and Sony's not that good, but if we're getting a Venom movie, give Tom Hardy a lot of say in it, and they have a great director with Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis was I forget his name. He was the weapons dealer guy in Black Panther. Anyways, but so they wanted Venom and Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland. Marvel Studios said, no, we don't want Venom. They don't want Venom because they know that Venom isn't going to last long at all. And that's number one. And number two, Sony it's just going to be a bad movie because Sony's going to want to have so much say with Venom, and it's just not going to mix. I don't really think you can mix Tom Hardy's Venom with Tom Holland's Spider-Man because it's two different things. Tom Hardy's Venom is so dark and it's just different. It's a different universe, a different vibe. You know, it's the Sony's universe. And when you take Spider-Man is more of like a lighty character. You know, like, I mean, it gets a little dark, but not like Venom dark. And so I feel like maybe that kind of stirred up the pot as Sony really thinking about cutting ties. And as I said, Marvel Studios has been asking Sony for a new deal with Spider-Man, and Sony just doesn't want it, you know? And, you know, Sony's very stubborn, but you do have to... I'm playing devil's advocate right now. If I'm Sony, well, I can't be devil's advocate because I don't agree with what they're doing, but in Sony's mind, they're saying we just got $1 billion movie. Why can't, if we combine that with Venom, or if we put that in our universe with Venom, that'll be a multi-billion-dollar company. That's what they're thinking in their head. But in reality, it's not going to work because you're taking character. You're going to take characters like Morbius and Jackpot and all these Spider-Man characters, and you're going to mix them with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and it's not going to work because number one, we have the MCU. The MCU is our universe. Everyone loves the MCU. No one's gonna get used to this Sony universe that you're trying to make, Sony. Stop doing it. No one is going to agree with what you're doing right now. And you and Sony as a company has to understand that, you know, to me, they just either you sell the rights or just let them, or you just keep signing new deals and let them make you money. Like Sony, you're literally not doing anything. The only revenue that Marvel Studios might get is production fees. I don't even know. You just got $100. You just got over. I mean, you just got $1 billion. Like, what more do you want? What more would you want from I mean, you're basically doing nothing. Kevin Feige and him is carrying you right now. So, yeah, I just don't get the logic in buying Spider-Man. And Far From Home really just set up Spider-Man 3 crazy. I just don't get it. I'm reading it right now, you know. The Venom movie grossed over $800 million worldwide. Okay? I mean, meanwhile, Disney... I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Deadline associated 2 additional Spider-Man. Yeah, so... And the crazy thing is, before this happened... The crazy thing is that I'm reading right now, they said before this whole fallout happened, Disney was working on 2 more Spider-Man movies. I mean, I heard that we were supposed to get 9 Spider-Man films, and geez, I mean, that sounded great. Yep. So, my guess right now is I think the media might be possibly pushing this, exaggerating this whole thing right now. I think a negotiation between Marvel Studios and Sony is happening, and either Disney is about to flat out give Sony a price that they can't turn down to sell Spider-Man to them, or they're coming up with another deal. You know, I believe that they're coming up with another deal, or either or. I just don't see Sony doing something like that. But if you think about it, at San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel Studios did not announce a new Spider-Man film. They didn't announce it. They did not announce it. So I am confused. And so, but as I'm saying it right now, there are still 2 Spider-Man films in the works. So, I mean, I don't know what's happening. But this is my perspective of what's going on behind the scenes. That's what I believe Sony is thinking. I feel like Sony just thinks that if they put Venom with Spider-Man, it can be $1 billion movie, and that's kind of wrong. So, yeah, guys, that is my behind the scenes deal on what's going on with Sony and Marvel Studios. I'm probably gonna hop on probably tomorrow or maybe again tonight to talk more about it when I get some more information. But this was really for whoever doesn't know what's going on, just to give you a basis of what's happening. So thank you. It's your boy Stu Steve Hayes from Super Post 302. Have a good night.